Welcome to Video Rental, your retro movie hub. Join us as we rewind through the iconic films of the 70s, 80s, and the occasional 90s gems. From cult classics to blockbuster hits and even some infamous flops, we're covering it all. So grab some popcorn, get cozy, and let's dive into the wonderful world of retro cinema today. I totally screwed that up. Together.
If it's not Micro Machines, it's not the real thing.
So today we're going to be covering 1999's Mystery Men. So we got Doug here.
Hello.
Dougie.
Yeah, the devil spawns back.
Preston.
I believe in my powers.
And myself, Nathan. So, Doug, when was the first time you watched this movie?
It hadn't been that long ago, actually.
Boy.
I say it was in the last 10 years.
Okay.
So and I don't, 99. Yeah. I was well into adulthood by then. So this one kind of didn't get on my radar till later on.
Okay. Dougie?
Last night.
He's a spring chicken. Look at that.
All right. What about Preston?
So my first time seeing Mystery Men was as a rental on VHS. The movie released as I was starting my senior year in high school. But I remember when it released on VHS, that's when we rented it. My sister and I watched it, thought it was a really great movie.
Yeah.
So that was my first time.
Yeah, I want to say it was probably, because I want to say this came out in December. No, August. It came out August. So I want to say I probably saw it in the early 2000s. It was definitely a rental. It wasn't something I definitely saw in theaters. Because the movie didn't do so great, but it was definitely a rental, and I probably even saw it like on TBS or something as well. And I loved the movie. I thought it was great. I mean, it was a funny take on superhero movies. It was weird. It was.
I had a similar impression.
Yeah.
When we watched it for the first time.
Yeah.
Back in my high school days.
All right, so I'm going to read the plot of the movie. A group of inept amateur superheroes must try to save the day when a supervillain threatens to destroy a major superhero and the city.
That was just, it's like a 2-line plot.
Short and sweet.
But that was
Short
it.
and sweet.
It was
Yeah, I mean, some of these movies just don't, there's just not, I mean, we recently just did Wrath of Khan, but the movie it gets to the point. There's no filler to the movie. It gets to the point. Just like this does, it gets to the point. But
these guys have been doing this for a while.
Yeah. Preston, do you want to read us some vitals for the movie?
Cool, let's go for it. So it released in theaters August 6th, 1999. I would literally have been starting marching band rehearsals for my senior year in high school at that time, living in Vernon, Texas, out in the middle of nowhere, up near the Panhandle.
I think I was living in Indiana at the time. Honestly.
Okay.
I remember living in Indiana in the late 90s and going into the early 2000s because I moved back here right after 9/11, actually.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I think I was living in Indiana at the time.
I was here.
Doug, where were you on August 6th, 1999?
I was definitely here.
You were here.
I was here.
Doug was here. All right, so that was the release date. IMDb score is a 6.1. Is that out of 10?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, they go out of 10.
Critic score. Well, I was kind of surprised by this one. 60% critic score. Critics are tough to please. The audience score was 57%.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those underground black comedies because it's just not a lot of people have heard of it.
I
Yeah.
don't remember any kind of marketing for it or anything.
There was apparently, from what I hear, there was a lot of issues with making this movie.
Well, and without me revealing details, I'm guessing we're going to find out what comic book series it's based on. Okay, so when I learned all of those things, it kind of made more sense to me why this is more so like a cult classic.
Yes, definitely.
There's a certain bracket audience for this. So those were the critic and audience scores. Budget of $68 million,
which is a lot.
Yeah,
a lot for this kind of movie.
I mean, for the time, yeah, that's a generous amount of money. Box office, it only scored about $33 million at the box office. So it was a flop
Yeah.
in the box office.
They lost a lot of money.
And I think the reception when it released in Europe was even worse than it was here.
Yeah.
Runtime of 2 hours and 1 minute.
They probably could have cut some of it off.
Yeah, it felt kind of long.
There was a
Little
few drawn out scenes, but a little long. They probably could have cut maybe 15 or 20 minutes off the movie, I'd say.
Shall I move to the cast?
Yes, sir.
All right. So our cast we have featuring Ben Stiller, very well-known actor, famous for Heavyweights, Something About Mary, Zoolander, Dodgeball, Meet the Parents, Tropic Thunder, Night at the Museum, Madagascar, and many, many more. Janine Garofalo. She was also really big in the 90s.
Very big.
Yeah,
I mean, she was just in every... I mean, she's not a big actress, but she was just in every kind of comedy you could
She was
think
just
of.
having a moment.
I think she's in some stuff still.
Yeah,
nowadays.
I think she does a little bit of things here and there.
I could be wrong. So my wife is watching a show. It's called Elsbeth. It's a Paramount Plus original, CBS, and it's the main character. She's kind of like a female Sherlock Holmes figure, just mystery solver. I want to say she appeared in an episode, but I could be wrong. Okay. Anyway, Janine Garofalo, she appeared in Copland, Dogma, Wet Hot American Summer, and she voiced a character in Ratatouille.
Yep.
We have the great William H. Macy. That's a guy with a thick resume. Fargo, Shameless, Boogie Nights, Air Force One. Hank Azaria. Is he the guy who played the Raja?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Through the
Fork
forks.
Man. Yeah. The Blue Raja.
Blue Raja.
Who wore green.
No blue
Yeah.
at all.
He was in the Simpsons, Smurfs movie from 2011, Dodgeball, American Sweethearts, and Godzilla. Which Godzilla rendition?
Oh, the 90s one.
The 90s. Oh, that.
Yeah, he was the cameraman.
Oh,
almost got
he was?
stomped by Godzilla. He went between
That's-
Godzilla's toes.
That's like the Godzilla 98. That's kind of like the redheaded stepchild of the Godzilla franchise. Oh, Kel Mitchell from Nickelodeon's All That, who went on to do Good Burger, Kenan and Kel. That was my first Kel Mitchell experience, was originally on Nickelodeon's All That, when Good Burger was pre-Good Burger.
Yeah,
Good Burger.
He loved orange soda.
Oh, yeah.
Good Burger
Oh,
is
one
good.
of my childhood heroes, Paul Rubens, a.k.a. Pee Wee Herman, from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Matilda.
The original movie. I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
remember the original movie from the 90s.
Nathan, you left off a really important Paul Rubens credit here.
What?
Batman Returns.
Oh,
He played
Penguin's dad.
the Penguin's father. Yeah. And the mom in that scene,
How dare you?
she played Simone in Pee-wee's
Pee-wee.
Big Adventure.
Yeah.
Oh, now this one of my favorite actors of all time, Wes Studi. Wes Studi was in Last of the Mohicans. He played Magua,
Yep.
where the character who said Magua will eat the gray hare's heart. That was one of his best credits there. He was in Deep Rising, Avatar, Heat, Street Fighter. He played Sagat in Street Fighter. And
famous
Dances with Wolves. Naturally, he plays a lot of Native American indigenous roles because he is Cherokee. Greg Kinnear?
Yes, Kinnear.
Okay. From As Good as It Gets, Little Miss Sunshine, You've Got Mail. Oh, and We Were Soldiers. Great. Who did he play in We Were Soldiers? Oh, wait, no, I know. He played the helicopter pilot.
Yeah, it's been so long,
Yeah.
I don't even remember. He's one of those actors that had a moment back in the 90s and early 2000s
Yeah.
that kind of just... I don't even know what he's doing now. I think I saw him in a movie recently, but he was one of those that had like a big moment and then kind of just faded away.
He does some work here and there, but I just now remembered who. But he was one of the helicopter pilots. He piloted with the other guy called Too Tall.
Right.
You Call, We Haul. Jeffrey Rush, another great actor. I love Jeffrey Rush from The King's Speech. That I believe was one of his greatest roles. If you've not seen The King's Speech, definitely watch that. Shakespeare in Love. He was in Pirates of the Caribbean, Munich, House on Haunted Hill, Les Miserables.
Les Mis, have you seen that version? It's the one with Liam Neeson.
So that's just the spoken dialogue, no
Yes.
music.
Yeah.
I have seen that
It's
one. He was excellent as
so
Javert.
good. If
yeah.
you guys haven't seen it, it's great. It's got Liam Neeson's playing, what is it, Jean Valjean?
Jean Valjean, yep.
Yeah, it's great.
And Jeffrey Rush is
Never
Javert.
seen it.
It's great.
Inspector Javert, who spends 20 years tracking down Valjean simply because he stole a loaf of bread, which they made a Star Trek Deep Space Nine episode about. But anyway, I digress.
I guess me and Preston are cultured here.
You guys are cultured. We're uncultured swine over here, I guess.
We will bring you up to our okay. Eddie Izzard from Valkyrie, another great movie. Valkyrie, Shadow of the Vampire, Oceans 12 and 13. Claire Forlani.
Sure.
Oh yeah, she was in Meet Joe Black. I thought I recognized her face. The Rock. Oh yeah, she played Jade in The Rock and in The Name of the King. Tom. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say she was the girl or the waitress in this movie.
Oh.
Yeah, she was in that red dress. She was Ben Stiller's or
Love
the
interest?
the love
that,
interest.
yeah.
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 Or whatever his hero name was.
Whatever you want.
The Rage Machine or what.
Mr. Furious.
Mr. Furious, that's right, yeah. Tom Waits from The Outsiders, Bram Stoker's Dracula, Book of Eli, that's another good one.
Isn't Tom Waits like a musician? Doesn't he have like a band and stuff? I feel like for some reason I felt like
I can't
has.
even get a picture in my
Break
head
out the
of who
Google machine.
Tom Waits.
Find out.
He was the guy he was the scientist that made all the non-lethal.
Oh, I got you. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he's got like a band he's been doing.
He composer, songwriter, and musician. So
Yeah.
yes, you are correct.
He made the tornado in a can.
Yeah. the what was it? The shrinking one where it shrunk everybody.
Or was it the can
clothes.
hurricane? I don't know.
Because it was all of his weapons were non-lethal.
Non-lethal, yeah.
That was the one rule: we don't kill. So that's all I've got on the cast. For screenplay, Neil Cuthbert wrote the screenplay for Mystery Men. Also did Hocus Pocus.
That's a good one.
Yes, it is.
And then it goes downhill from
I was going to say these others, Return of Swamp Thing, and then even worse. So we have Pluto Nash. Those were terrible flops.
Okay, so let me say the thing about the Return of Swamp Thing is the makeup effects in Return of the Swamp Thing were amazing, but the movie was garbage.
Yeah.
But then it was the total reverse for the first movie. The makeup effects were terrible, but the movie was great.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
Yeah, you could make that argument. We've got Bob Burden. It says comic book writer.
Yeah, he's the one that created the Mystery Men comics.
I gotcha. And produced by Lawrence Gordon, Lloyd Levin, and Mike Richardson. Names are not familiar to me, but backgrounds might be. Music by Stephen Warbeck. The additional plug that I'll make on that is Stephen Warbeck did write all of the music. When they went back and did some editing and some tweaking with the movie, they brought in Shirley Walker to rearrange some of the music. And Shirley Walker is known for doing the music for the original Batman animated series and Mask of the Phantasm.
Oh, which is great.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and say it.
Yeah, go.
We've talked about doing maybe doing some animated movies as a review, and that might be one of them. Mask of the Phantasm.
Okay.
Batman. Oh,
I would love.
it's so good.
Great movie.
Sorry, Preston. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I'd welcome it. So yeah, Shirley Walker was brought in, and now she died in 2006, but Shirley Walker's work was pretty prevalent in TV, and she did some film work, but a lot of the work that she did, and this is somewhat common practice in some circles when we're talking about TV and movie soundtracks. Primarily, her work was around supplementary type arrangements and contributions. For example, like this right here is a prime example where we had Stephen Warbeck, who did the original score, and after some tweaking and changes, Shirley Walker was brought in to do supplementary work and rearrange some of the music. A lot of her credits have to do with her working alongside someone like that. I want to say she did some similar work with Hans Zimmer and others on other TV and movie projects. So this here is a really good template for the kind of work she did. And also too, she was more so a music conductor. She would conduct a lot of the recordings and direct the orchestras and things like that in soundtrack recordings. And of course we have the great All-Star by Smash Mouth. which was specifically written for this movie. A lot of people misconstrue that it was for Shrek.
Yeah.
2 years later, and it wasn't. Smash Mouth did All Star specifically, and when you see the music video,
Yeah, say there is a music video.
there's a music video, and it is all clips from Mystery Men specifically.
And more people remember the song than they do
Yeah,
this
they
movie,
do.
unfortunately.
I know that is.
I had
unfortunate.
no idea that song was tied into this movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
At all.
Dougie,
Yeah.
I was almost exactly your age when this came to be.
Well, I mean, obviously, when I watched the movie, I heard the song, but I just had no idea that
Yeah.
it originated from this.
It did. Yeah, it was.
Did you think it was from Shrek? Is that
Yeah.
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 To see with
Because
with
Shrek
some,
was such a bigger movie.
yeah,
than-
and see with some movie soundtracks, when you hear a combination of orchestral music, but you also hear album music, especially album music that sounds new. You've never heard, like with Smash Mouth's All Star. It's like, oh, that's a new one. I've never heard that before. You'll see that a lot in some movies where they will reach out and tap into certain artists to create an original song that's meant to be channeled for that movie. And it's kind of a way to promote both sides of the aisle. But then, oh yeah, go
Sorry, I
ahead.
was gonna say this was also something new I was trying out. Like for us, there's always like multiple types of soundtracks for the movies. There's the what do you call it? The one that has the actual orchestral music.
That you could call that the original soundtrack.
Right, and then one that actually has other people's songs.
And you would just call that the movie album.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was trying to include that, but of course, not every movie actually has a regular soundtrack that have other people's songs on it. So that was something I was going to try to include this one.
Batman Forever would be
Yeah.
an example of that.
Exactly.
You have,
Yeah.
which we'll save a lot of that, but it's just strictly quickly to the music would just be there's orchestral, but Batman Forever was one of those. I want to say that was maybe one of the first times they did that practice where they created an entire album of songs, some of which are in the movie, but not maybe every single one of them are heard in the movie. But you do have an album that was
And
inspired for it.
there was a bunch of other songs on the album that but I did not recognize the bands or the songs. So that's the only reason I put those two.
Yeah.
You said something about Hans Zimmer in there?
Now, not in this movie, but Shirley Walker, who did some extra work for the soundtrack. Part of her filmography includes work alongside Hans Zimmer.
I was going to say, that goes on into some pretty good movies.
Oh yeah, he's one of my
Inception, Interstellar.
favorite. Yeah, nice. Yeah, you're
Whoa.
exactly right.
Little
He knows his stuff.
Nolan pool there.
Dude knows his stuff.
Listen, I'm not as much of an uncultured swine as you think. This old guy over here, a little bit.
It's just me. It's just me.
So, Night Fever from the Bee Gees. So we do have some original disco classics in there. Filming was at Universal Studios in California. Directed by Kinka Usher. Is it Usher or Usher? Kinka.
Sure.
Yeah. That,
I do know this, and like you wrote here, this was his only movie. He is better known for commercial work and even some of the famous Super Bowl commercials from around that time. Kinka Usher directed. Known for music videos as well.
Yeah, he was, and there is one thing. If you notice when you watch the movie, there's a lot of musicians in this movie, like especially around the table where they're having the dinner party near the end or near the middle. There's a lot of those are musicians.
all the different little groups like the hockey boys and stuff like that.
And one thing I was going to say about the location, that is, like I said, it's Universal Studios. They filmed it on the Back to the Future lot.
Oh,
The scene where they're walking out of the old folks' home and the cops are meeting them right there, that was the clock tower.
oh, okay.
So cool. I just happened to notice. I was like, man, that looks so familiar. But sorry. Go ahead, Preston.
Oh no, you're good. That was everything for all of those stats. I've got trivia here, unless
No.
we need to go through something else.
No.
Want to do trivia? Okay.
Just trying to find the trivia.
Trivia. Tom Watt's odd hand gestures when explaining the psychofraculator were the result of him writing his dialogue on his fingers and reading the words as he went along. I had no
He was
idea about that.
When he was doing this, and I guess all the dialogue was on his face.
That is hilarious. I had no idea. The bowler's skull, I thought this was a cool prop. The bowler's skull ball was a custom ball. obviously. After the release of the movie, bowling ball manufacturer Ebonite made a less detailed version of the skull ball as part of their Super Fun Ball line. I think that'd be a cool ball to have.
Yeah.
As the
That or
team,
the rose.
The rose from
Kingpin.
Kingpin, Bill Murray's bowling ball.
oh yeah,
Rose, he always kiss it. Yeah.
that's a good one.
But that one doesn't talk to you.
That's true.
No.
Yeah.
That one doesn't break the laws of physics.
It just
I've
brings
seen
the women
some.
in.
There was one time I remember I was just kind of looking at bowling balls online, and I remember seeing one where it was a clear one like this skull, but instead of a skull, there was like a boxing glove inside.
Oh, that's funny.
Or they make some where it's like a playing card. It could be like a king or a spade or something like that. So, anyway, as the team enters Dr. Heller's amusement park workshop, creepy music is heard. This is not just incidental music, but turns out to be Dr. Heller practicing on a water phone. The strange cylindrical device with steel wires can be briefly seen holding. The water phone is primarily used in the motion picture industry in the composition of creepy incidental music.
I thought you'd get a kick out of that.
I do. That's because wasn't it like a metal pipe
Yeah.
going up and down in the water, and it was kind of boingy boingy.
Yeah.
There's a group that's called Stomp. They're based in New York City. They do a lot of rhythmic performance, where basically it's pieces of junk as musical instruments. I've shown some videos to my students before, and things like broomsticks, buckets, and they use one of these water phones.
I think that automatically made me think of when Will Smith in Wild Wild West. Wasn't you in Stomp? He's talking to
Yeah. And that's the reference.
He's making fun of him because he's in a wheelchair, having. Wasn't you in
We're in
Stomp?
We might have to do Wild Wild West. I don't know. That could be one of
I'm
our
going to be the bigger man and walk away.
different movie. Different. No, wait, what, did he say it in that?
Yes.
I thought that was some scary movie.
Well, that was a scary movie, yeah. Both of them guys in wheelchairs. It was awesome. Yeah.
So next one, when the Blue Raja, played by Hank Azaria, sits on the fork, he shouts, "Clavin!" The catchphrase of Professor Frink from The Simpsons, whom he voices.
Yeah, Hank. He probably voices 6 or 7 main characters, and then probably at least 20 more throughout the entire series. Just background voices.
He's a big voice actor.
Yeah. He was also known for Apu. Remember the convenience store owner?
Oh, yeah.
That's him.
Oh, interesting.
But then recently he
Window
stopped
grips?
doing it because he thought an Indian person should be.
Oh, they're kind of being
yeah,
culturally.
he's. One.
I mean, I get kind of being culturally conscious of it, so
It grips slushy.
I get it.
Well, I think they got rid of the character altogether out of the
Really?
series. Once he stopped doing it.
Yeah. Well, okay.
All right.
Well, and-
Bring
well,
us down there.
But I mean, that is a good point because it is common practice for voice actors to do multiple characters in their own show or throughout their careers.
Yeah.
I mean, Walt Disney himself was the original voice of Mickey Mouse, and part of that was because when he kept describing how he wanted him to sound, people would try to portray it, and no one was getting it the way that he envisioned. So he grabbed a microphone and did it himself.
Did it himself, yeah.
And that's where you got Mickey Mouse's voice. Captain Amazing's jetpack uses the same sound effect as the turbine engine sound effect as the Batmobile from Batman 1966. Turbines to speed.
Nice. That's a deep.
That is
deep
cool.
Well, you just gotta love when studios recycle.
Oh,
sound
absolutely.
effects.
Oh yeah.
That's it.
So that's everything for trivia.
All right. Thank you, Preston.
You are so welcome.
Let's see, Doug. You want to read us some reviews?
Yeah. Let's see what
notes
is in
are all
people's minds today. Starting off on a good one. 1 out of 10. How could such a wonderful cast make such a god awful movie? Bob Kublawi? I don't know.
Sure.
Bob, yeah, that word. February 12th, 2004. Ben Stiller, Jeffrey Rush, William H. Macy. Wow, what a cast you're thinking, right? Well, this vaunted and talented cast managed to make quite possibly one of the most disappointing movies ever made. This movie tries and fails to be funny in so many ways. There is not one funny line in this movie, not one. No sight gag or line drew even a snicker. This was the longest hour and a half of my life.
He didn't even finish it.
Away from this one, far away. Well,
I was going to say that,
Completely
really
disagree
feel-
with that. This movie's hilarious.
that hour and a half doesn't line up with,
No, he didn't even
the,
finish
2
the
hours.
movie.
with the runtime that I previously stated there.
well,
He must have fell asleep.
yeah. He was dreaming something. I don't know. Okay, let's see what this guy. 8 out of 10. Undiscovered Gem, John Cloak, March 25th, 2006. When I first saw this film in the video store, I skipped past it thinking it was just another superhero flick. It strikes me that the producers even tried to make it appear like a serious superhero film, which is an amusing idea, but ultimately may be the reason its target audience is largely unaware of it. I don't remember what made it get out. Wait a minute. I don't remember what made me get it out, but
doesn't make sense.
I'm glad did.
People clearly don't go back and read what they've typed. They
Yeah.
just type it and hit enter and move on.
Not a spoof exactly, but a knowing take on Superman American Dream premise. Hank Azaria is excellent and Ben Stiller is on top form. And if you want to see his see the definitive William H. Macy comedy performance, this is it. Highly recommended. Okay. I'm somewhere in there. Yeah. Okay. This next one, 4 out of 10. Pretty bad if you're not in it for the nostalgia. Computer Parts. 72429, September 13th, 2021. I remember this movie from when I was a kid, and I thought it was pretty average back then. I watched it again recently, wondering how it aged. Let's just say, for anyone who isn't watching this for the nostalgia, it's probably not going to like this movie. The only good thing about this movie is the characters are earnest, but that doesn't do enough to make up for how boring they are. Okay, this next one, 10 out of 10, a quality satire mainstay, June 24th, 2000. Reading many of the previous comments, Mystery Men seems like an excellent litmus test to sift out the humor impaired from the rest of us who can appreciate a quality satire. The former type whine about the cheesy special effects, the comic bookish plot, etc., but completely miss the point that Mystery Men is a very well-wrought parody. Just the tongue-in-cheek, corporate sponsorship, glasses parody, etc., portrayal of Captain Amazing should be enough to tell people, hello, this is a very black, very comic satire. If you just can't appreciate quality humor, if you prefer the humor in Austin Powers 2 over the original, you should stay away from this movie, and please refrain from polluting the Mystery Men IMDb listing with asinine comments. Whoa, that's shots fired.
You got a little upset there at the end.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I'm telling you what, you better not talk bad about her. All right. And finally, we're going to end up again with Mr. Ebert. Mystery Man has moments of brilliance waving their arms to attract attention in a sea of dreck. It's a long, shapeless, undisciplined mess, and every once in a while it generates a big laugh. Since many of the laughs seem totally in the character of actors who get them, they play like ad-libs as if we were hearing asides to the audience. The movie has its moments. I liked William H. Macy version of the Henry V speech on the eve of battle and his portentous line, we've got a blind date with destiny, and it looks like she ordered a lobster. And a lot of the Jean Garofalo's lines, as well as she says, I would like to dedicate my victory to supporters of local music and those who seek out independent films. When the smoke clears, her character is ready to retire. Okay, now I'm going back to graduate school. That was the agreement. We shared her relief. 2 out of 4 stars. Well, I mean, he's right in the middle. He got it a little bit, didn't love it. And there you go, sir.
Thank you, Doug.
I did like that Gene Garofalo line, the independent supporting musicians.
Local music.
Yeah, local music. That's it. Yeah. That's so funny, the Henry V comparison. Now looking back on it, I can see that now. The we few, we happy few. We band of brothers, for he who sheds his blood with me today shall be my brother.
All right, so we're going to do our scene-by-scene breakdown now. The film opens with a view of Champion City. The Red Eyes are attacking a retirement home party. The Shoveler, Blue Raja, and Mr. Furious try to stop them. But I was about to say Captain America. Captain Amazing saves the day. Casanova Frankenstein is released from a mental institute. Thanks to Captain Amazing's recommendations, the trio discusses becoming an incorporated superhero team. After dinner, they discover the Disco Boys return to Champion City, prompting Mr. Furious to investigate. We meet the Shoveler's family, and we see Blue Raja's home life.
What kind of retirement home is going on here? Let's just start off with that.
Okay.
I do have to agree with my esteemed colleague over here to my left that I remember the first time thinking to myself, like you just said, Dougie, what in the world party is this? And then the music on top of that,
Hey, man, they're just
really out there.
they're just having fun, man. They're
But
just
hey,
having a party.
Just living their
90-year-olds
I mean-
doing line dancing in a circle.
But I will say this, whenever I do get to my twilight years, I would not mind me being that active as well.
No.
So.
Oh, that'd be great. I ain't that active now.
Oh, we know.
Nobody was on a walker. They're just all up and dancing around like they're 20.
So, we have the shoveler come in. He fights crime with a shovel. Blue Raja, I almost want to say besides the bowler, Blue Raja is probably one of the few that actually have powers. The fact that he can literally physically actually, when he gets good at it, physically throw forks and actually is able to stab people.
Because doesn't he make a lot of misses in this scene?
He does, yeah, at the
Yeah.
beginning.
He hits the shoveler.
Right
Yeah,
in the
he,
butt.
Right in the
First he
buttocks.
throws a spoon, and then he throws the fork into the blue.
Well, he gets crap about that the entire movie because they're talking about how he doesn't want to use knives.
He's like, I don't use knives. I'm the Blue Raja. What does that mean? And then of course we got Mr. Furious coming in there, and his is just stupid.
He's just like a rage machine.
Yeah, well, he can't even fight. He's getting beat up like crazy by all the red eyes, and
Best
I think
depiction.
That's his power. He gets beat up.
yeah, I guess so.
Best
gets
depiction
angry.
of that is a toddler who got his toy taken and is throwing a tantrum trying to get it back, just throwing hands
There we go.
in any direction.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, and then they're getting beat up and everything, and then Captain Amazing comes in, and the best way I can describe Captain Amazing is he's Batman basically. Of this universe, he's Batman because he's a billionaire.
Don't compare him to Batman.
No, but
That is a stretch, man.
I know, but he has no superpowers.
Well, you
he's the
could
Batman.
almost attribute him between Batman
And
slash or what I was going to say, because he has all the money.
Yeah.
You could make Bruce Wayne and Tony Stark comparisons because, he's got a secret identity.
Yeah.
But you see the whole face, which kind of is reflective of Tony Stark just coming out with.
Well, Tony
"I'm
Stark
Iron Man."
makes more sense to me because he's also got the suit that has
Yeah.
a jetpack built into it, kind of like how Iron Man,
Well,
repulsors.
they always say that like if you want to compare DC with Marvel, Batman and Iron Man are like the two characters that you would say that are similar because they're both billionaires. Yes, one made his armor. And the other, I mean that's probably the most similar characters, but you could say that he has a little bit of mixture of Superman in there too. Just
the glasses.
Clark Kent, we'll say
Clark
Yeah.
Kent. Yeah, the Clark,
Clark
Kent,
Kent
side
side
of it.
His side job being a lawyer.
Yeah. Well, then of course he beats up everybody just so easily, but then he's so mad at his publicist. Yes, a superhero has a publicist.
Oh, he's got sponsors.
Sponsors, and he's got all those different
Pepsi.
Pepsi.
He looks like Looks
Pennzoil.
like somebody that's racing in NASCAR or something. He gets out and he's got the decals all over.
Yeah.
You know, all these different sponsorships.
Well, and then after he beats them up, we find out that he apparently lost Pepsi's sponsorship.
Did you think that was funny? That one would've
Rip
got
the
me.
patch off
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
car.
Take that, PepsiCo.
Well, I didn't think it was funny like that. I haven't worked for. Preston, help me. So, but that you pretty much just see how this world is really set up. Like it shows that certain superheroes, I mean, like Captain Amazing, he has been a superhero, but he is so full of himself, and he has sponsors.
Well, he apparently got rid of all the villains.
Yeah.
They're all in jail or gone, so that's where it comes into him trying to get Casanova Frankenstein released because he thought he was a good villain.
Well, and you know, because that's all he cares about now is sponsorship. Who can he get next to sponsor? How his image looks, and then everything.
When he wants to be relevant.
Yeah.
There's no one else to put in jail except these common criminals
They're
like
below
the Red Eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're below him. Because in that scene where he's talking to that his publicist or whoever in the car, Death Man is dead. And then, the other guy, 50 years to life or life without parole, listing off all these. And then, what about Casanova Frankenstein? And then they turn around and rig the game.
Casanova Frankenstein, we just had some severe battles, and that name.
Yeah, he's like talking about the
eyes.
chemistry that
Yeah.
they had together. We were so great together. Let's get him out of jail so I can be relevant.
And then the way he's in is when they do the reveal of how he looks now. I mean, his fingernails. Why hasn't he cut his fingernails since the whole time he's been in there? That was
Later on, he
gross.
does, except for the pinky.
He keeps
Well,
he keeps
that's
the
for a
coke
reason.
nail. He keeps the coke nail.
That's for a reason.
Quick snort in the background.
Well, yeah, and then we see at Casanova's, what is it called? It was like a parole hearing,
Yeah.
and it's
Get the
so,
opera scene.
Yeah, it's just so ridiculous that Captain Amazing is willing to release him just so he can have somebody else to fight.
When isn't he disguised as his secret identity?
Yes.
And he's trying to rig the parole board to argue for his
Captain
release.
Amazing in a suit instead of his battle suit, and then he
Yeah.
has glasses. That's it.
Well, that's where the whole Superman
Yeah.
Clark Kent thing comes in.
Right.
Secret identity. I can't remember. But yeah, so that pretty much on his recommendation, and if you notice, he was reading. It was supposed to have been a note from Captain Amazing.
Yeah, it was blank.
Well, no, it was his shopping list.
Oh,
it was his
yeah.
grocery list.
I didn't catch that, but that's
Yeah.
funny.
So they release him, and then they go back to the Shoveler, the Blue Raja, and Mr. Furious. They're eating at a diner, and I feel like this is
like
the
This is the headquarters.
Yeah, it's
that's what
like-
I was telling him. I said, this is their
guess
headquarters.
so. Yeah.
It's like a local 50s diner or something. They always go there and eat.
The city was crazy. Like the way this city was built and everything, it was very
Very Arkham.
yeah. I mean, like Arkham mixed with maybe like Blade Runner or something, like futuristic, but like not
Dark.
at the same time. It was
There were Blade Runner references in some
Yeah.
of the reviews that I looked at. And looking at it now, I definitely see that point.
It was the-
Lance Hunt
Lance
Lance.
Hunt.
is the name of the secret
Yeah.
identity for
Yeah.
Captain Amazing.
Thank you, Preston.
You are welcome.
Lance Hunt.
And it seemed like the roads were always wet. It's
Yeah.
it must be always raining there or something.
Maybe it was the future Seattle or something.
That was kind of like I took that as a Blade Runner nod.
Yeah.
As far
Oh,
as
yeah.
the visuals.
Yeah, it's always.
Yeah.
Well, and it
always
was
raining.
on the water, so that's why I'm saying maybe it's
Yeah.
like a future Seattle or something. I don't know.
True. Yep.
So the pretty much when they're leaving, they see the Disco Boys rolling up,
Tony C and P, man.
and so they're just wondering like why are they returning to Champion City, and everybody else wants to go home. The Shoveler and Blue Raja, they're like we're tired, we want to go home, but Mr. Furious is like no, we need to follow him. So he follows them, but everybody else goes home.
Well, you got to pause there. When he gets on the bike and he's trying to kickstart it, and he just slips off and just busts the goodies, man. And then he has to take off. It's great.
Oh, testicles throbbing.
as he's swerving back and forth in the road, trying not to run into anything. Blood pressure rising.
That almost looked like that was like a mistake. Like when he started drifting off.
It probably was, and he's like, "Oh, we're keeping that."
Yeah, let's just keep that in. I actually heard when I was doing all this research and stuff, I don't know if it's in my trivia later on and stuff, but Ben Stiller hated this movie so much. He hated doing this movie. He actually hated acting with all of them. I think even today, he literally says he hated, this is his worst movie that he's ever done.
I do know he butted heads with the director.
Yeah. And I think he also butted heads with
Greg Kinnear.
Yeah, him and Greg Kinnear apparently did not get along whatsoever. I mean, they didn't have very many scenes together, but they just butted heads like crazy. So, we see the shoveler's family life, and he goes home.
I believe in you, Daddy.
I believe in you, Daddy. Don't encourage your father.
That's the same kid from Are We There Yet? When he throws up in the car.
Yeah.
Oh.
Then we go to Blue Raja's house, and it is very weird. I almost would say it's almost like Indian or something. Like
Don't come in here, Mom.
Yeah, and he's still doing that accent.
Yeah.
Because doesn't he change the accent
Yeah.
when he's dressed
later
up
on.
versus when he's not in costume?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. Well, I guess when he speaks to his mom, he speaks normal,
Yeah.
but then he does an accent when he's in costume.
He's dancing on his bed, practicing.
What's his name? I think his name's Jeremy, or something. But she's like, "Are you smoking the marijuana?"
Are you smoking
"No,
the marijuana?
Because he's got all those incense and everything burning.
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
house.
Oh, that's right. Incense. She comes in there and says, "What is that burning?"
Do you guys want to move on to scene 2?
Why not?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So, scene 2. Mr. Furious follows the Disco Boys to Casanova's Frankenstein's mansion. Casanova blows up the insane asylum, and Captain Amazing is captured while trying to stop him. Mr. Furious learns of Captain Amazing's disappearance at his day job at a junkyard. Junket! Casanova reveals his plans to Amazing that he's going to kill him tomorrow night at midnight. The trio investigates Casanova's mansion but gets attacked by the Disco Boys. They decide to hold tryouts to expand their team and meet the Invisible Boy, the Spleen, and other eccentric characters.
The ballerina man.
The spleen.
Just as they're about to give up, they meet the bowler.
Waffler.
Yeah, the waffler.
Oh my gosh, I loved the waffler.
Well, you know who that is, don't you? That's Dane Cook.
Oh, Dane Cook, yeah.
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 There was so much going on.
So
in that scene.
much.
Pencil Man.
Well, his
Razor head.
his wife's like, I don't deserve this, and he's like, I know. I'm probably gonna divorce you for this. Or no, I think
If anybody
no, that's what
throws
she
up
said.
in my
I'm
pool,
gonna divorce-
I'm
he
gonna
goes-
divorce
he's
you.
like, that's fair.
That's fair. In that typical William H. Macy
Yeah.
that gravitas that he
stare.
has, yeah. That only William H. Macy can do.
So he found out, Mr. Furious is followed. He still continued to investigate Casanova's. And right after he blows up the asylum, you see he sees Captain Amazing fly into his house.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, what's he doing?"
Well, and then we see Casanova actually clean up. He's actually cut all his hair and put his old jewelry back on, and
Well, until he has to take it off because it's all like little gadgets.
Yeah. I mean, he
Yeah.
still tricks him. He still
Take your laser ring off.
yeah. Well, then he's like, "Oh, what's this?" And he picks up a little device because he thinks it's the detonator for the bomb for the.
It
Yeah.
explodes with chloroform.
He's like, "Oh, that's a what did he say? That's a cool device." Oh, really? And he's like, "Yeah." And all of a sudden, it comes out in his face, and he's like, "It's a chloroformed dispenser or whatever." And then he
Night.
That knocks him out cold.
that he was it just shows right there how cocky he was.
Oh yeah.
He
Oh
didn't,
yeah.
he didn't think of that.
What's the name of the chick behind the desk at the junkyard?
The old
That
lady
That older lady.
with the beard.
Yeah, she had a great mustache.
I don't remember her
think
name,
it said her name.
but that's just where she's like, "Junket."
Junket.
Yeah.
He's like, "You can't junk it. It's an armored vehicle. Junk it."
Was her
That
name
ends up-
Sally?
Sally. Yes.
Gail Vance
Yeah,
was the
Sally.
actress's name.
Well, that ends up being like the team car at the end too.
When they find out, they mentioned to the guy that's making all the weapons for
inventor.
him what it is.
Yeah.
He's like, what?
Yeah.
You got one of those? Because he's out there trying to junk it with a crowbar. He's beating it on his...
And that's when we find out that on the radio he hears that Captain Amazing is missing, but also somehow Lance Hunt is missing as well.
also, yeah.
It's so stupid.
And doesn't that's the first time when they're at they're all together at the diner again, and the shovel's saying, I think Captain Amazing is Lance Hunt.
I think that was the same night when they
Actually started an argument. And
Yeah.
like, no way, he wears glasses. It can't be him.
Because then he wouldn't be able to see.
Yeah.
So they try to they gather up a few people and they try to go and
No, they just go three of them. And remember, they think it's they're standing there in the yard and they're like, it sounds like what's the name of that guy? Anthrax machine powering up.
Yeah.
He's like, oh no, we're gonna do this. Hey, just hold your breath. And all of a sudden the sprinklers kick on, and then the Disco Boys come out and beat the crap out of them.
he's like, what's the deal with the pipe? Or what's the deal with the chain? You could at least have it be a gold chain.
See what I'm saying? That's right off the top of my head.
Rough top,
Bro, there's no themes at all.
And then that's when they go back to the diner and they
They all have toilet paper up their nose. They're bleeding everywhere.
when Ben Stiller tries to hit on the waitress girl
And then it comes out of his nose and lands on the tip box,
Yeah.
or like the donation thing. And he picks it back up and
Shoves
sticks
right
it back
up
in his nose.
See, there's a bunch of cool quirks and one-liners
Oh, yeah.
throughout and going back to, how bad it performed when it released, that I feel a lot of people missed out on.
yeah.
That's when they decided they needed more help because the Disco Boys took them out.
Yeah, and that's because they're back. I think it's the next morning. They're at the diner and they're like, we need to hold tryouts. And then here comes the
Best
spleen.
character ever.
No. They went to before they tried to do tryouts. They were at meeting when they say, hey, we're gonna meet up tomorrow for lunch.
Yeah,
And they heard the Invisible Boy.
yeah.
And this is where Dougie's character comes in.
Yeah. Ed from Good Burger.
And it's like, so what you're saying is you can only turn invisible when nobody's looking.
Yeah, turn away. I can't turn invisible. You're looking at me.
It's like the Emperor's New
I
Clothes.
can't even look at myself. Well, how do you know you turn invisible? Because you can just feel it. Feel it.
And then that's when they decide to hold. He's like, I know more people.
I know a bunch of heroes.
Yeah.
We should host a barbecue.
Well, that's when they go back to the diner and
This is when my favorite character comes in.
and they start talking about it, and then all of a sudden the spleen walks in.
Paul Rubens.
I heard from the grapevine. Does Derek really have a pair of the spleen
Oh,
shoes?
no, not the spleen shoes. He's got the bowler shoes.
Does he?
Did you not notice that?
I did not.
When the bowler, she comes walking up, she's got the flaming shoes.
Oh, his Docs.
Yes.
His Doc Martin. Yeah, I have seen
Flaming.
that. Okay.
Okay,
Yep.
she's got
I've
the
seen
same ones on. She walks in with those.
How
flaming
funny is
shoes.
that? I'll have to
Like,
go back and
Derek-
rewatch it now.
Derek's got
Oh,
them
that's
shoes.
great.
He does, yeah.
He does.
They decide to hold tryouts at the pool party or at the pool, and it's just ridiculous. All these different. What's the girl's name? There's like a minstrel.
Oh, PMS.
Oh,
PMS.
man.
She only works 4 days a month. You got a problem with that? No.
No, we're good.
What?
Oh my god.
Well, right before all of this, like before they even have the pool party and all that, and they're in the diner still.
Oh
as
yeah,
the
we didn't even
spleen's
talk about
coming
the
up.
spleen.
Yeah, and then he sits down and he's got a lisp and he's talking like this, and
Yeah.
Invisible Boy asks him what his power
What's
is.
your
and he's
power?
like-
And they're like, oh, we don't need to know.
We don't need to.
and then he throws down the clips on the table,
The clothespins.
and they immediately start putting them on their nose.
Blue Raja.
He's like,
oh,
oh,
you're
yeah,
so
come on.
disgusting.
Pull my fingers. Pull my fingers.
He didn't
Yeah.
say pull my finger.
Yeah.
Fingers. He sticks his whole hand out
Yeah.
there.
And then
What is it? 3 or 4 of the.
They all
people
pass
eating.
out along the bar.
Yeah,
it's like air control.
4,
Yeah,
5.
he had to check the
He's like,
wind.
that's a good shot. That's a good shot.
Just for the air conditioning.
So great.
And then he shoots.
He's like a walking fart joke. I mean, it's just all.
If anybody out of this table could play this spleen, it's this guy.
Oh no.
I mean, if you smelled his farts, I know you've been around long enough. You should know.
pull my finger.
Yes, I have. And I'm sorry.
it's enough to knock you
Preston,
out,
You
too.
have too.
Well, no, we had that traumatic experience a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I live with the guy.
I didn't know that was my natural super.
Where he redesigned your HVAC system.
Oh,
He just needs a lisp and, like some prepubescent acne
Guys.
on his face.
I'll forever be the one who dealt it.
you guys are having a tryout. So that's when they have their pool party.
Yeah.
And all these crazy characters start coming over. And
Pencil head.
the pencil head. And
Which-
I am son of the pencil
Yeah.
head.
And I didn't realize that was Doug Jones from Hocus Pocus, Star Trek Discovery.
Oh, yeah.
The
He does a lot of the. He's like a lot of characters that are super skinny that he can
yeah, real tall.
Yeah.
'Cause he was Saru
Yeah.
in Discovery, and he was what's his name in Hocus Pocus, the one with where his mouth was sewn shut.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was Billy, wasn't it?
Billy.
I think it was Billy.
Was
but that was Doug Jones who played that.
was Doug Jones also, or am I thinking of somebody else in Hellboy? He played the fish creature.
Yep, that was
that
him.
him?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was Doug Jones.
Yeah.
So he played a number 2 pencil.
He did.
Erasing crime.
Yeah.
And then of course we get Dane Cook as the Waffler, but like I said, I'll explain that later. I've got some info on him.
Got a little
Pressing it against his face.
Waffle.
I'm gonna burn him just
Slight
like this.
sizzle.
And they're all looking at him like he's lost.
Ooh.
The party's over. They couldn't find anybody, and then all of a sudden the bowler walks up, and she's like, "Am I too late?" And they're like, "What time is it?" "I don't know. I don't have a watch." "Yeah,
Yeah, you're
too late." She's like, "Fine," and she turns around and pulls out the bowling ball and throws it, and almost hits him. And they're like so impressed by her, and so they're like, "All right, join our team." But Ben Stiller's not happy about it. He hates when he gets new people, especially if he doesn't agree with them.
Oh yeah, because all
mean,
the
the-
rest of them automatically agree to
Yeah, they love
for her to join. It's like, oh great. He's like, oh, wait, what do you mean?
Yeah, as his rage level started
his
rising.
each level.
When that's kind of the overlying premise here is none of them can ever really agree on anything.
Right.
They can never agree, and their quote powers are kind of like mediocre, just almost real world. Almost anyone can do it in the real world type superhero powers, and they have by some miracle have to come together.
Well, see, that's what I was saying earlier. There's literally only like 2 or 3 people in this movie that actually have some kind of real power. I mean, you got the spleen. The split, yes, I know
Yeah.
it's crazy, but he does have some kind of power.
The bowling ball girl.
The bowler,
That's power.
Sphinx.
the Sphinx. I don't even know what Sphinx power is. They never really explained
It
that.
was like
Cut
he can,
guns in
cut-
half
that's
with
the
his
only
mind.
thing he could
That's
do.
it. The cutting the guns in half with his mind.
Like I said, Blue Raja. I mean, when he
Shoveler
actually,
can shovel better than any man
Yeah.
she'd ever seen.
all right, you guys ready to move on to scene 3?
Why not?
All right, so scene 3. On their mission to rescue Captain Amazing, the team encounters Casanova, who they warn and destroy his car. Amidst their celebration, they're about to be killed when the mysterious Sphinx intervenes and saves him. The Sphinx then begins training the team, but Mr. Furious dismisses their efforts, storming off. The Sphinx reveals that they will require more than just physical powers or prowess. Prompting the team to seek assistance from Doc Heller, a brilliant yet eccentric weapons designer. Meanwhile, Mr. Furious walks home the waitress, and she persuades him to return and apologize to the group.
I absolutely love the Sphinx.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that. Part of it is because of Wes Studi playing the part. He was perfect for that role. But I absolutely love that character.
He has a really familiar face, even for just me.
He's been in
young,
so
but-
much. I mean,
He's been in a lot. Yeah.
What Preston named off is like nothing compared to what he's done. I mean, he's
He's got a
been in
long
everything.
resume. Dances with Wolves was one of the first things that he ever appeared in.
Yeah.
the limo Corvette.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Casanova's limo. He taunts him. Casanova pulls up, rolls down his window. I'll take a double burger and a Pepsi, please, or a Coke. He said
Yeah,
Coke,
and he's like,
please.
"Would you guys like anything?"
Well, and that's what I love when the Sphinx first appears, and he's talking with them, and because just about everything he says is
It's like a
something that
motivational quote,
yeah, and I love it because, and I love the teacher type role that he assumes.
Mr. Miyagi in them.
Yeah,
Wisdom
he's
lines.
kind of like Mr. Miyagi in a superhero costume. I never thought of it that way. Where he's like, to learn my teachings, I must first teach you how to learn. Or when you care what is outside, what is inside cares for you. When you can balance a tack hammer on your head, you will head off your foes with your balanced attack.
It's so
And then the watermelons go, I do not remember telling you to do that.
Yeah, he's like, why do I got watermelons? Why am I
Tries to
wearing
chase somebody,
watermelons?
can't move.
Well, when they go destroy the car, Mr. Furious is literally doing nothing. He is
He's flopping on top of the hood.
He's laying on the hood, slapping the
And
head.
he tries to
he's
pull the
being
badge
furious.
off.
Tries to
Yeah.
pull the Corvette badge off. Oh!
Well, and he starts off by slamming and kicking
Yeah.
it like a disgruntled 5-year-old in a classroom.
Yeah.
Going, "Eh."
Exactly. He's having
Yeah.
a temper tantrum
He's
on the
having,
hood.
yeah, he's
Well, and then we got Blue Raja throws his fork in there and is able to lock the doors. So that's why I'm saying he has some kind of power. Just
He
a
locks
small
the
amount.
doors and it
And then Spleen.
Spleen.
Farts in the window.
Farts in the door.
and they make it where it blows Casanova Frankenstein's hair.
you can see the
Butt's
airflow.
like right there in his face, and all of them are like, oh.
Yeah.
It had enough of wind power to move to move.
Well, and we got the shoveler. He's literally just beating the crap out of the car, just
Yes.
denting the
I
side
think out
of
of
it.
everybody, he did the most damage.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then
Oh yeah, well the bowlers, all she did was break a couple glasses.
yeah.
Well, she
Well-
threw it out of the car, and it went in the window, out the other window, and then it came back.
Yeah,
into
and
the
she
car.
caught it.
Yeah, come back to the bag.
Well, then you see Blue Raja with his fork just trying to scratch
Scratch it
up.
up.
Paint on it.
Like in the
Takes it
high
down
school,
the side.
like in my high school days when people would key cars.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's trying to key the dented up part. I mean, like, yeah.
Oh, well, Casanova finally gets out, and he's literally just standing there laughing about the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's the most ridiculous thing. And then, they get back to celebrating at it looked like some kind of Asian restaurant or something, and they go outside, and then that's when the disco boys were waiting on them, and they're about to kill him.
Like Tony's seeing people out there, Desert Eagles with reflex sights and compensators on the end.
Then the top load magazines. Those really made me laugh.
And then this is where we get introduced to the
The
Sphinx.
Sphinx.
Because all of a sudden they're about to get shot and all the guns get cut in half. Ding, ding, ding.
Well, and they mentioned that earlier of like, he can like.
It was like a rumor.
It's almost like he just thought of it right then and there. He's like, I don't know, he can like cut guns in half and
With
they're
his
like,
mind.
Really? I haven't heard of that.
That's the Blue Raja's like, I never heard of that. Oh.
And it turns out it's true.
He who questions training only trains himself at asking questions.
All the little one-liners. I mean, who wrote his lines?
I would love to know, but I mean, he had the best lines in the movie. Your temper is very quick, my friend, but until you learn to master your rage will become your master? That's what you were going to say? Not necessarily.
So they realize especially after Mr. Furious left, they realize they need some weapons. So the shoveler remembers that he got a card from the doctor
After
at that
the
old
nursing home.
Yeah,
at
the
the
nursing
very
home.
beginning
came
of
out.
the movie.
Yeah.
And
little foreshadowing.
so they go to, and he lives at an abandoned amusement park. And they're like, what kind of crazy scientist lives in an abandoned amusement park? That's the idea.
Yeah.
So they go in there, and Preston, what kind of musical instrument was he playing that they said earlier?
Oh, the water horn?
Water horn?
Was a one, let me double check, but I'm pretty sure it was called a water horn.
Because he's like standing on one leg,
Yes, a water phone. It's a water phone. Yeah.
and then they sneak up on him, and he pulls out a hairdryer like he's gonna kill him. And they're like, whoa, we're a friend. And then he starts showing them all these weapons, and they're like,
What was the one weapon he shoots that makes you argue with the guy? You tell him the truth.
Oh, the blame gunner.
The blame gun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the blame gun.
This is all your fault. No, it's your fault.
I don't like your attitude. I don't like yours.
Well, and then he points at one. He's like, "What is this one?" though? He's like, "Oh, that one will shrink anybody's
Clothing.
Clothing."
So
Right.
they can't breathe.
He's like, "I can get you a leather case and that one and a holster for it. It'd be nice."
Oh, yeah, that's right. He uses on those girls.
Yeah.
And they all like,
That's a wedgie they'll never forget.
and the shoveler turns around like 3 times doing
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
because he's got a wife.
It was almost like a different version of Q from James Bond.
Yeah.
Going through
Yeah.
all of the different weapons, their features.
Well,
only
before
none of them are lethal.
they even get there, like as they're trying to acquire all this stuff, he tells them that it's non-lethal, and they all turn around and try to walk out.
Like, oh, okay. Thanks for pretty much for wasting their time.
Yeah.
And he walks outside, or they walk outside, and he's like, or does he say heads up, or no, incoming?
and then he throws the can
of
tornado.
tornado.
And it picks up the spleen. It starts flying in the air.
He's like, he lands on the car and farts, and he's like, Doc, you're a genius.
You're a genius.
And then they have, then they go in and hear what he has to say, and that's where they get all the weapons.
Yeah. And then, Mr. Furious is pouting, so he goes and visits the waitress, and he convinces her to let him walk her home because it's so dangerous. And then she kind of, says, you need to go back and apologize.
Yeah, because he kind of he was frustrated with the Sphinx like taking on a leadership role in the group when he thought he was the leader of the group.
And he was
Well,
still
and-
going with like the whole I'm like Mr. Furious. Like when he was talking to her, he's like, because it's so dangerous. You need to have me because I got so much rage.
Yeah.
When
Just like I'm so scary. Like nobody's gonna touch you.
When to Doug's point, the Sphinx, and this is part of the reason why I love this character, being a teacher, the Sphinx is that teacher figure. And in my experience as a teacher, you are going to have different reception in a group, in a class, in a group of students. Some of them are going to receive it well, especially when it comes to something constructive. And that's what we're talking about here with Ben Stiller's character, is that he's receiving something constructive and he's being challenged. And the way that he's responding to it is by walking off, throwing a fit.
Yeah.
Whereas the rest of the team, they're admitting, all right, we need to
need
become
help.
more than we need help. So that's a great template for the concept of what happens when you admit that you need help and when you can't bring yourself to admit it and you respond like that. I see it in my classroom every day.
Yeah, when he doesn't get his way, he acts like a child.
Yeah.
And he runs away, and the Sphinx drops what's the line? He's like, "What we lack in manpower, we will replace with weapons."
I can't.
He said something in there. It was just this little corny one-liner.
I didn't even mention. He has Captain Amazing. Casanova has Captain Amazing in that chair, and he explains to him there's some crazy machine that's above him, and he's like, I'm going to kill you tomorrow night at midnight. I'm going to turn this machine on and kill you, and he's like, that doesn't work for me.
I don't have that in my schedule. So.
He's like, how about this? I become Amazing Boy and be your sidekick. No? And they just walk out and turn the lights off. Come on.
Yeah,
I
he
totally
kinda
forgot
talked
about that.
his way out of it. Yeah.
Looking for a sponsorship in there at the same time.
Scene 4. Casanova hosts a party for his old gangs while the team sneaks in to rescue Captain Amazing. Amazing is strapped into Casanova's secret weapon, which he intends to use to destroy the city. The team attempts to free him from the contraption, but accidentally activates it, resulting in his death. Meanwhile, the Disco Boys abduct the waitress. The team seeks help from Doc Keller to understand the nature of the machine and realize they must prevent Casanova from activating it. They inform their families and prepare for a final confrontation.
I just love it.
How many times do I need to flip the switch? You're not understanding me.
Toggles!
I just love
Flip it, moron!
I just love it when Carol checks for his pulse afterwards and his arm falls.
He looks like a burnt piece of toast.
So that scene when she's checking for his pulse, that was, and the hand falls off, that was pure accident. That was not supposed to happen. So her reaction of like, whoa, that was totally improvised or pure, yeah.
How funny. Yeah, that was one of the most messed up deaths I've ever seen.
Well, it wasn't even. It was more Captain Amazing's fault than their fault, really. they were really there to help, and he wanted to argue with all
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
Because they're all a bunch of idiots.
Calling them stupid
Yeah.
morons in the middle.
Well, just flip it. Just flip it. And his patience was going out, and he's like, just flip it again. Hurry now. Do it now. Just flip it.
Well, and then I don't know if it's the bowler or if it's Mr. Furious is like, I think we killed him, and the shoveler's standing over there beside him. He's like, what do you mean we?
I'm standing
He
over
was just
here.
standing there watching it all happen. It was the Blue Raja run over and flipped the
Well,
switch.
he told him
That's
to flip
true.
it twice.
Yeah.
And after
They flipped it
had
the first
told him-
time, and you heard it kick on. You're like, oh.
He's like, how? They're like, how many flips do you need? Do you need it to be? And he's like,
That was like
4.
that was like a
7. He said 7.
7.
That was
7.
like a 90s version of an Abbott and Costello skit.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third. And it was almost like they just revamped that for Captain Amazing's death scene with the machine.
How many times does you need us to toggle the switch, not including the 2 that we've already done?
Not including it kept getting so complicated. It was turning like
Yeah.
a trigonometry problem at that point.
7.
Just flip it, just flip it. And did you notice, like, right when he knew it was going to kill him, he's like, he knew it was
So
gonna
excited.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and it's
like
so weird.
no
like,
turning back.
It turns him like, I don't know, inside out, and then comes back.
Face,
I mean, it was
eyeballs
like-
come out of his head.
It was like they took Clayface from Batman, put him in a kiln after stretching him out, and then there's what you get.
Yeah.
After, I mean, it was so messed
Crazy
up.
monster. Yeah.
So, Captain Amazing is dead now.
He's dead now. The actual superhero of the city is dead now.
So our team like freaks out and leaves after they check his pulse.
So, well, while that's going on, Casanova's having a party, and he's got his all of his old gangs back in town. I mean, there's like, what is there?
frat boys.
Frat boys. There's like a gangster group.
Hockey boys.
Hockey
And Michael
boys.
Bay was one of the frat
Yes.
boys there.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know Michael Bay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's like lady killers.
There's
or
lady
something.
killers, and then there's like an Asian group or
Yeah.
something,
Yeah.
and then
A lot of themes.
Yeah.
Too many.
So he takes them to go see his machine that's gonna
He was
destroy.
gonna he was gonna kill Captain Amazing in front of them.
Yeah, that was like their prize. Or like,
And he like walked down there and he's like,
well, as they were heading down there, the mystery men are leaving. Blue Raja drops
Fork.
a salad fork,
Yeah.
and Casanova freaks out. He's like, what does he say? Something like, "They're not gonna stop me with a salad fork."
That's right.
Well, as soon as he cuts on the lights and they see he's toast, he's like, "As you can see, I've killed Captain Amazing."
yeah.
Well, that one guy
reality,
gets in his face, is like, "This guy's dead."
Then they all start cheering.
So this is pretty much where they realize they're like, all right,
we
this
gotta get
is-
serious.
we really got it serious as Casanova's, but he's about to destroy the city. Everybody pretty much goes back to their families, letting them know what's going on. The shoveler's wife says, "I'm leaving you," and he's like, "I know, but I shovel well." What does he say? "I shovel well. I shovel real well."
Yeah.
And he's like, "I got a calling," and I think she doesn't understand. But she's like, "I won't be back. I won't be here when you come back." He's like, "I know, but that's a sacrifice I'm willing to make
to save the city.
to save the city." So, and this is where we pretty much get. They start getting all new costumes.
Yeah, you get the
Making
payoff.
their own.
making their own.
Yeah, you get the payoff from in like you're in sewing class with
Yeah.
the Sphinx quoting stuff over them.
Mr. Furious is saying, we have this old military vehicle at the junkyard, and Doc Keller's like, "You have a whatever it is. It's the most advanced non-lethal machine," because he's so obsessed with non-lethal weapons. But it's like the
Like
perfect
nuclear
vehicle.
powered or something like that.
Yeah. So they go and get all new costumes, and
Oh yeah, the new flashier, which is almost like watching a Joel Schumacher Batman movie.
Yeah, where it comes.
I mean,
off
think
the
about
colors.
it, because the final battle, we have the flashier costumes with the
yeah.
bigger muscles, and then in Batman and Robin, we even decided to spray paint silver on them.
And I'd like to add, Blue Raja has blue in his
has got blue on
costume
him.
now.
Finally put blue in it.
Yeah, we're true to the name.
Well,
now.
I'm gonna go ahead and say I actually like the old costumes better. They're self-made costumes. I actually like them better than
Yeah.
this was the era of the leather costumes in comic book movies and
reflective everything. You know, everything had to be reflective and neon as the 90s was all about.
Well, Mr. Furious, he just got like a trench coat, but it had flames. And
Only difference.
Well, and then you had the
he didn't
Sphinx
change it all.
who looked like he was about to be ready to be launched out of a cannon.
I know that's what I'm saying. His
That's
old
what he
costume
was wearing.
better.
Yeah.
So they get all that stuff going. Well, right before they arrive, because that'll be in the final scene. But right before they arrive, they get into the tank, whatever you want to call it. And Mr. Furious, he's lost his furiousness or whatever you want to call it.
he's not even angry anymore.
No. So they try to convince him to be angry again, and they're just ripping him a new one the whole way there.
You're a horrible human being.
When even the Sphinx, he says something like, "You wear the clothes of a male prostitute."
Yeah.
And he looks at him like, "What?"
Oh, well, I guess I totally skipped over the shoveler's speech to him to kind of get him motivated when he's fixing that egg salad sandwich.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
I can't eat egg salad because of my cholesterol.
Yeah.
All right. You guys want to move on to final scene?
Sure, no.
Sure.
So final scene, the team arrives at Casanova's mansion for their final battle. They eliminate all the gangs. The bowler finally gets her revenge for her father's death, while the invisible boy proves his true nature. Mr. Furious becomes enraged and saves the girl by throwing Casanova over the balcony, destroying him in his own machine. These mystery men emerge, saving the city and proving they are real heroes.
And this is where their name, official, unofficial, is revealed.
Yeah, like
Finally.
like right at the end by the press.
Yeah, because they can't even identify themselves.
We're number one. Everyone else is number two.
Or lower. I love it when he said that.
Okay, so pretty much, they're driving in that tank vehicle thing, whatever you want to call it, and literally just drive right into Casanova's
Busted
mansion.
the
Just
gate, drive through the front
bust
door.
all the way in. And then that's when all the different gangs, they have to fight all the different gangs.
they
They
turn
all
on the
pull out
elect-
guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they turn on the electromagnet. The nuclear
A tube
powered
comes out of the
electromagnet.
top of it,
Yeah.
and then all the guns just get sucked to it.
Yeah. Well, and then finally when they get out, the they kind of all start splitting up. They have to fight all the different gangs. The shoveler is fighting all the disco boys in that hallway, and that's when he first reveals that he uses a second weapon, and
The
it's
garden tool.
garden tool.
It's a spade, ain't it? A garden spade.
Yeah, it's a spade. Yeah, and he starts using his fists and everything, and
And he pulls that spade out.
His suit did get better.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it was flashier.
Yeah, it's
the
flash.
helmet got.
Instead of using it was like his son's
It was
hockey
his-
pads.
Yeah, it was his son's hockey pads. He's like, I bought these, and his wife.
I'm gonna use them too.
I need them too.
Then the groups are trying to get their guns off the top of the tank, and they're trying. They just start pulling the triggers on them. They don't really aim them. That's when the spleen takes one. He
In the
gets
butt.
in the $1 million wound. Man down. I'm hit.
And he's like, does it still work?
Weapons check.
Let's see.
Gets up, squats over, farts all of them, pass out,
Takes out like 3 of them.
Yeah.
Good enough.
Good enough.
and then he passes out on the floor.
And that's when Casanova retreats. They all retreat back into the room, and he
Kills like 3 of his own guys.
yeah, he turns on the eye. What is it? The eye.
Like I don't remember what it was called, but it freezes them. Like it turns them to ice and kills them. Or no, maybe it turns them to stone or
Stone
something.
or something
stone.
like
Yeah.
that.
And yeah, he kills like 2 or 3 of his.
It's because that one guy had his pants pulled down.
Yeah.
And so he was behind trying to get into the room with
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Well, it took his belt off when
Yeah.
they turned the magnet. And that's when
Invisible
Boy said, "This is my moment."
Everybody look away.
Everybody look away.
Or it won't work.
Look away or it won't work. So it finally does.
And then they
Do
turn
you
back
see
around and
me?
He's naked.
Yes.
Yeah. Carol's like, yeah.
How about you put some clothes on?
Maybe a pair of shorts or something.
So they get into that room, And I don't, what were they called? Like the fairies or the daisies or something? All those women in the short skirts and all that stuff. I don't remember what they were called.
That's what
They
they
were
used
like
to
the-
shrink gun.
yeah.
They were like the fembots in
Yeah.
Austin
Yeah.
Powers.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Well, and that's when the the Sphinx used that shrinking gun.
Shrink it, yeah.
And they
Shrinks
already
them
had
all.
tiny outfits. And then they shrink the outfits on them. And it's just the noise of it. You hear them.
Yeah.
And they say,
Well, Ben Stiller's like, I feel my pants getting smaller.
That line was pretty good.
that's a wedgie you're never going to forget. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Well, and then the bowler faces her dad's killer, which he's the what was his name? The disco boy leader.
The leader.
Is it C or P?
C. It might be C.
I think it was C because it was a blonde one, right?
Yeah.
That's C.
Yeah, so
Tony C.
Tony C.
Tony C. Yeah. So she faces Tony C, and he pulls out a flamethrower. He's got like a thing of hairspray, and it's a flamethrower.
Yeah.
But she just literally throws the ball and kills him instantly.
He gets slammed into a wall so hard.
All
that
you
his
see
whole
is
body's
his feet.
in there.
That's all you see. And then, of course, Casanova's he's desperate, so he turns on another trap that it's like a
Electrifies his staircase.
yeah. It kills like 2 or 3 of his guys.
Oh, yeah.
3 of the frat boys get
Yeah.
killed. And then this is where
Mr. Furious.
Mr. Furious gets his because the girl got kidnapped. The girl he
Oh,
liked.
yeah,
got kidnapped.
the waitress.
Reach levels are rising.
Blood pressure climbing.
So and we see
Blue Raja?
Blue Raja help him out by throwing the forks.
Well, because he looks like a mouse trying to.
I know he's trying to like crawl up the wall.
Oh, right.
And he throws the forks upon him.
Yeah,
Makes a ladder.
and that's the only time we see Blue Raja actually use his forks in this final battle. He
Yeah.
doesn't fight anybody or anything. So he gets up the wall and Casanova's like, "What are you doing?" But he starts fighting him, but he can't. He can't. He's no chance against Casanova.
Yeah, Casanova's beating the crap out of him.
And he breaks out that fingernail, starts sharpening it. His coat
with a file.
Coat nail.
coat nail, and he's
Slices his neck and his face up.
oh god, it's so great. Well, then he starts getting angry, and Casanova's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Blood pressure's rising." I don't even remember what he says. He starts yelling, and then fights him again. But he starts to beat the crap out of Casanova, and throws him over the balcony, kills him.
Well, I mean, he's been beaten up so many times. You think he finally figured out how to fight?
Well,
He didn't. He threw him off the other side into his own machine.
Yeah. That's one thing I didn't mention. His machine. He turned on his machine when he realizes the whole mansion's getting attacked. So he turns on the machine, and it's going till midnight. When Mr. Furious throws him over the balcony, he drops into his machine and turns literally inside out.
You start seeing him split.
Yeah. So Casanova's dead.
Yeah.
So now they got to figure out how to stop this machine. So they get they come together. They form a circle around it. And
Group hug.
Group hug. Yeah, that's what it was. So they realize that if they throw the bowler's ball can destroy the machine.
She goes, the good news is you can't die because you're already dead. And then throws him.
Throws him in there, drops him in the middle of the machine.
He destroys the machine, and they what is it? They start running out. The whole place blows up.
This is the best scene in my opinion. Because this is where just everything blows up, all the blue and purple flames come out. This is like the victory scene.
Yeah. Well, and they start walking out of the smoke, and they're walking
yeah.
down.
And
the
here
driveway.
comes,
They're doing
as
the
the
hero.
building explodes, the bowling
Oh,
ball
yeah.
comes out on fire
Yeah.
out of the thing.
They're doing the hero walk.
Yeah.
Everybody's walking out, blowing up behind them.
Yeah.
So the news reporters are there, and they're all asking them questions. They're like, "What's the name? What's the name?" I don't even remember some of the
One of the
things they
reporters
said.
like, these men, they're such a mystery. And then that's when the Sphinx says, "That's it. We're the mystery men."
No, he doesn't say that. He says
No,
something
the-
stupid.
I think the reporter says the mystery man.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
he's like,
who
"That's
knows
it." And
who
then he
these
says
mystery
something
men
dumb.
are?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the bowler's like, "All right, I'm. What did she say? I'm going back to school or something like that."
That was the deal. I'm going back to grad school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's the end of the movie, and they start playing Smash Mouth.
Yeah, yep. All-Star.
Hey now, you're an all-star.
Which game on go away? All right, you guys got anything else? Final scene.
I think I'm good.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to do my famous category that we all know and love.
Did not know that.
Preston, this is for you. A subtle reference to William Shatner once, while recording lines for the video game Star Trek Judgment writes in 1993, Shatner pronounced sabotage strangely and was asked twice to repeat the line. He finally blurted, "Don't tell me how to act. It sickens me." In the film, this line is repeated by Ben Stiller. Later, Janine Garofalo says to Stiller, "You say sabotage, I say sabotage." Another Shatner quote from the Star Trek recording session.
I had no idea. That's
You got
crazy.
him. You got him with
You
one.
got me.
Preston is our resident Star Trek expert here.
Yeah, Captain
Star
Guilty
Trek
as
Enterprise
charged.
over here.
The Star Trek database.
Okay, so this is what I was telling you about earlier. Dane Cook, the Waffler. He was invited to audition for a character called the Waffler, and they told him to wear whatever. When he showed up with a waffle iron and griddle marks on his shirt, Ben Stiller said, "What are you doing? You're supposed to be waffle like you can't make a decision."
Oh. He's supposed to be indecisive. Not the waffle.
But he literally showed up with all that on
waffle marks on him. So that was an original Dane Cook
even the
thing.
syrup too, the syrup of justice.
truth syrup.
True syrup of justice.
justice.
Yeah, he even showed up with all that. The Mystery Men originated as, and here this goes back to the comic. The Mystery Men originated as the team name of Misfits superhero led by the Flaming Carrot. Flaming Carrot Comics by Bob Burden was originally published by Aardvark Vanheim?
Vanheim?
Vanaheim.
Then by Renegade Press and Dark Horse Comics between 1984 and 1993. The book has since been relaunched in 2005 with Image Comics.
That is such a random name. Flaming Carrot.
The Flaming Carrot.
And then I looked up pictures of it, and it was the most random thing I've ever seen.
Oh boy, I got to see this.
Original. Okay, here's the original in the comics. Here's the original comic book members: the Flaming Carrot, the Shoveler, Jackpot, Mr. Furious, Screwball, Captain Attack, Bondo Man, Jumpin'. What is that?
There you go. There's a flaming carrot.
Yeah.
I've seen that before. I didn't know what that was
Yeah.
from though. Jumpin'. Jehoshaphat,
Yeah.
Red Rover, the Strangler, the Spleen, the Metro Marauder, Hummer, Disco Man, Jummo the Magnificent, the Whisperer, Mystic Hand, Star Shark, and the Zeke. Those were all characters in the comics.
I'd like to have seen Star Shark.
Star Shark.
So members invented for the movie were the Bowler, the Blue Raja, the Sphinx, Invisible Boy in the comics. The Mystery Men have also teamed up with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles twice. Or wait, is that the... I don't even know. I'm cutting this. All right, let's do number one quote. Let's start with you, Doug.
The number one quote in this, it's probably the one I remember the most is when the lady's hollering, "Junk it! Junk it! Junk it!" Just screaming in his face. And, yeah, that's my number one quote.
Okay. Dougie, what about your number one quote?
I was gonna say that, but I don't know. I think the thing that resonated with me the most was when they're in the diner and the Spleen first comes in. He just tells him to pull his fingers. Pull my fingers. That one got me.
I mean, that's a good one. That's a good one. Preston, number one quote.
The fist, the knee, the elbow, the head. You must lash out with every limb, like the octopus who plays the drums. Now, I am convinced that was meant to be a nod to the Beatles. Because who was the drummer for the Beatles? Ringo was the drummer for the Beatles. He also wrote Octopus's Garden. Now, I did research on that. I can't find anywhere that has evidence that was meant to be, but I really do think that may have been meant as a nod to the Beatles.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think my number one quote is I'm gonna go with the shoveler says I shovel well. I shovel real well.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. It's so funny.
It's what he's good at.
That's what he's good at. Doug, what about the best part of the movie for you?
Best part. The one scene that's going to stick with me is that same where I get my quote from, but when Ben Stiller's trying to talk to his boss and you can tell he's getting upset and he reaches over on her desk and gets that stress ball and the camera zoomed up on him and he's squeezing it in his face. He's and he puts it down. This thing just saved your life.
And she just laughs at
Yeah, she's laughing. That's great.
Junk it!
Junk it!
Yeah, that's so great. Dougie, best part of the movie for you?
The Spleen's first fart scene.
Okay, yeah. Preston?
I'd say probably my favorite part is another Sphinx quote where it's at the end. Doug already said it was, "We are number one. Everyone else is number two or lower."
Or lower.
Or lower.
I cracked up when I saw that.
I'm going to say the best part of the movie for me was... Okay, so I'm going to say probably when they couldn't figure out how many toggles to flip when they finally killed Captain Amazing. That's probably my best part of the movie for me. Flip it!
Do it now!
It's a communications failure.
Yes.
It shows what can happen when communication fails.
Doug, what about your favorite character?
Oh, my favorite character is the Spleen. Absolutely. He's definitely the Spleen. I mean, no matter what he does, it's funny.
Yeah. Dougie?
Exact same. That, needless to say, the lisp, everything. It all just blends together.
Preston, I'm starting to think they're not related at all.
No, not at all. There's
He
no way they're
farts-
father and son.
He farts in Casanova's face. That was so good.
Wind from it.
Yeah, it was just blowing his hair. It was awesome.
Well, and Spleen's wearing he's wearing fringe, and it just blows with it.
Yeah,
when it
everything.
farts.
What's cool about that,
In the face.
Yes.
I didn't know initially that was Paul Rubens. You know, I had to go back and look at the cast list. Now, this was years ago, but I just thought that was a role where he wasn't quite recognizable. But when you look closely and you know who it is, then you realize, oh yeah, that is him.
Well, Preston, who's your what are we on?
Favorite character.
Yeah, favorite character.
The Sphinx, hands down.
Yeah.
Love
Well,
the
I
Sphinx.
was starting to think that after a while because you kept.
I
on
kept
quoting.
citing him, but there are many reasons. I mean, yeah, there's
No, it's not that he's
there's
great.
the
He's got all
teacher,
the best quotes.
the teacher aspect, the special place in my heart for that. The fact that Wes Studi plays that part,
Yeah.
I love him as an actor, and then on top of that, all of the lines that they gave him for the movie are just excellent. So it was just a really nice collection of everything working.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna say mine was the shoveler. He was so like deadpan through the whole entire movie. He never cracked jokes or anything. I don't even know if he smiled through the movie at
Just
all.
serious.
Oh,
the whole
right.
time.
He was dead serious, and you could definitely tell he was the leader of the group. But
Even though Mr. Furious thought he was.
yes. But yeah, he's definitely my favorite character. Let's wrap things up.
Yeah.
Our final score and final thoughts. Doug?
All right. This was a good movie. If you think of it as when you're on the playground with a bunch of on your middle school with a bunch of your friends, this is in your mind. This movie's what you're trying to be out in the playground. Okay, you're gonna be Mr. Furious, and you're gonna be. I mean, it's just like it's like an image of the mind of a child.
Yeah.
If you look at it, and it's just hilarious. I mean, I think this was a great movie. I think it kind of hit the theaters at a wrong time. It just kind of those ones snuck under the radar, but I'm gonna give it a.
Well, 99 was a bad year. Like, because I'm not saying a bad year, but there were so many good movies that came out.
Came out
99.
up against him, yeah. But I'm gonna give.
When it comes to superhero movies as well,
Yeah.
that was, I could be wrong. I want to say that was kind of a slump in superhero movies.
Yeah. And it was before like the big resurgence of it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna give it like a 2.5.
2.5?
Out of 5.
Okay. Dougie? What's your final thoughts and rating?
All right, as the youngin, I'll take it away. And this movie,
This is your first showing. You just watched this for the first time.
for the first time, it got a few cackles out of me. It was funny, something that's just light and enjoyable. But I don't know. It's not something I would be like specifically looking to watch. But if it came on, it's one of those movies where it's like, okay, yeah, that's something funny, and watch it. Mm-hmm. So I think with that being said, I'm gonna give it a 2 3/4.
Okay. 2 3/4. Preston, what's your final thoughts and rating?
I think it's a really fun movie. And I remember thinking at the time I first saw it, as much as I enjoyed it, part of me was wondering where in the world did they get this idea from? And then years later, that's where I learned about Flaming Carrot comics and thinking that was really random, but it made more sense to me. And that right there told me one of the reasons it flopped was probably because of target audience. So, but no, I loved it. I thought it was a really fun movie. Great one-liners all around.
Yeah.
I
think their marketing must have been awful, because this is what it sounds like to me. They had like their marketing was awful, and
And plus,
Not only that, but like the budget that they had for this movie, they could have done so much.
I think the budget
better.
came from all the actors, all
Probably
the big
so,
name
yeah.
actors they had in this movie.
They were all very big.
I bet you that was at least half their budget.
yeah. I mean, there are things that could have gone worse with it, but yeah, it was a box office flop. There was some good music. You've got Smash Mouth premiering All Star. I would give it a solid 3.
3. Okay. So I mean, I've watched this movie since it's come out. I mean, it's probably been a couple of years since I've actually watched it. But for me, it still holds up. I still find it funny. It definitely is one of those dark comedies, or black comedies, whatever you want to call it. I think it's hilarious. I mean, I'm not saying it's the greatest movie in the world, but I think I'll give it like a 3.5.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
This was your movie pick, too.
Well, one of the reasons I picked it because I wanted Derek to see it too, but
I would love to know what he thinks.
because he said he's never heard of it.
Wow.
So
He'd get a kick out of that.
He would like to spleen.
Yeah.
I don't know. I get a feeling he just might destroy this movie. He might give it like a 1. Or
I
something.
mean,
Well,
there is Rings of Power.
yeah. Oh, boy.
Why did somebody bring that up while he
Man.
was here?
Well, hey, no, we can. Yeah.
That'll happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so it turns out to be 2.93. So that's not bad.
No.
All right, you guys got anything else?
I'm good.
All right.
All hearts clear, as Derek would say.
All right. That's all for today's episode, folks. We hope you enjoyed our superhero adventure into the world of 1999's Mystery Men. Join us next time on Video Rental as we tackle another classic movie. Until then, stay cinematic. And remember, we've got a blind date with Destiny, and it looks like she's ordered the lobster. See you next time.